Hello, hello, hello. I have, it's day 7 of my hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. On the side of the cells, I believe I'm doing quite well. From plus day 1, I developed an infection, and it was also, so my temperature was climbing slowly from 37.4, 37.6. I got steroids because I was vomiting so much, and the fever went away. They said that there was no infectious focus, no need to do blood cultures, and if a fever spikes, they will start doing blood cultures. On the same day, I started antibiotics. Kids.
So, how about kids?
I had been on the antibiotics for 3 days, I think, and the CRP kept on climbing. There was one day where it was steady, but they changed the antibiotics and added an antifungal, or maybe they already started the antifungal, like, I don't remember about the fungals. But, yes. And since then, the CRP is still climbing. When today, this started, when they flush my catheter, I get the shivering and chills, and then my fever goes up. Since a couple days ago, or whenever I was getting the fevers, I stood up to use the toilet, and while on the toilet, I just started vigorously shivering, that hard, and the whole body. And I needed 3 blankets, and even 3 blankets felt cold. The only difference that I felt and still feel is that this time it only happens when I'm just steady in bed and do nothing. The chills don't just spontaneously come, and the fever doesn't just spike. It's only when they flush, only when I quickly move, and it's not just transferring from the bed to the toilet without standing up, or for example, when I walked to the wheelchair, which is maybe a meter or so, I was shivering when I started taking the shower. So it's a given amount of physical activity. It's not just oh, oops, I moved my arm, I start shivering. Oops, I start using the toilet with a wheelchair transfer without using the legs, just slide from bed to toilet very quick, with barely any physical exertion. Doesn't seem to trigger the shivering and massive chills. And so based on these 2 points, or couple points, and also my experience with 4 times having sepsis from a catheter, all of them never showed anything here. It was from the tip of the catheter. I don't know why people cannot think that, oh, even if this part looks totally fine, that catheter actually goes to the damn heart. It's not that small. Duh. It could be along that entire tube. It's plastic. Bacteria can form bacteria, biofilms, whatever. And we can't forget that everything that goes through my catheter, it comes from outside. So everything could be contaminated from somewhere else. So this whole system here it's my IV pole with all the IVs here, and all the connections here. One sec. Here. And the entire system, if they touch the opening that I just showed, then the bacteria travels from there through the IV line into the catheter, bypassing the surface. Oh wow. But and it can come into my bloodstream. It can also stick to the catheter. And I have, like, Professor Rabic, who's the head, who's super, super amazing. He is all for getting rid of the catheter. Wants to do it as soon as possible, however, like, reasonably possible. He is unfortunately from today on holiday, but he spoke to the other professor, Schoenberg, who is very dismissive of everything that I say. And I guess it's just that, like, I'm a person of facts, so, like, I need to hear facts. I have questions. I say stuff, and we have experience is not an answer for me, and trust me is not an answer. I automatically trust, like, Professor Alnabich. He just, like, answers with, like, pinpoint facts that are super precise, exactly what I need to hear, and he can say just one word and the conversation can be like, stop, okay, gotcha, let's do this, you know what to do. And, like, I have, like, wholehearted trust. I absolutely, like, if he's here, or if he's even thinking about me, he'll get me through everything. That's how I feel. You know, we have chemistry as well with different doctors. And yeah, so Hannah, the resident, has told me to tell them if there is an absolute indication that it's a catheter infection, because then it just has to come out, like, immediately. I have that right now with the flushing, with the motion. I hope people can understand what I'm trying to say. It's hard because, like, there are people who it feels like, I mean, of course, like, sometimes I'm speaking in German, or, like, it's not our mother tongue, or and I say a lot of things. Maybe they already made up their mind and say, like, okay, like, this patient speaks a lot, or, like, we have to filter what she says because, or I don't know. And sometimes, of course, I lack knowledge. Like, for example, thrombocytes, like, in Budapest, there was still plasma in the product, as well, as far as when I was learning or, like, involved in administering. Here they say there is absolutely no plasma, and that makes a world's difference, because, of course, if there's no plasma, blah blah. But I have kind of made a deal out of it. Hello. I'm good. Yesterday, so Schoenberg will probably be like, he doesn't like me, I'm pretty sure. Professor Rabic came and just said, oh, they're washed. I'm just like, oh, okay, my bad. Like, let's start. But like, back to the catheter. This has to go, like, medically, factually, today, as soon as possible. How and who can I get through to? That is the question.